Well, hello. Alright, time for part 3. The final part. Alright? Tying Piper and Noah together. Okay? So, Piper meets Noah and Audrey before she meets Emma. Emma being the main character, right? She meets them at Nina's wake, right? She talks to them, and Noah is familiar with her show, right? And Noah also says he's a crime geek. And what I think happened is that Noah did a report about the Brandon James case, right? He talked to Brandon James' brother Troy. Maybe he found the adopted child who was looking for answers, that child being Piper. And he gave Piper information about her father. And what happened? They decided to dig deeper together, alright? And Noah being a townie, he breaks in the sheriff's station to get the evidence files on Brandon James to give Piper more information about her father. In that break-in, no one's killed, right? And I think he could get the combination because if you look close enough, there's a camera pointed in the direction of the safe, alright, or the combination door. And being tech savvy, I think he could hack it and see what exactly the combination was so he could break in, right? So I think he found the information on Brandon James, right? He gave it to Piper, Brandon James's kid, right? She gets kind of upset, and they decide to meet in town, right? Maybe to take revenge for Brandon James, alright? You know, Noah, he's obsessed with serial killers. Maybe he wants to be one, right? So I think that, why did the people die? I mean, I think that Noah, through his tech savvy, found out what Nina was doing, that he was hurting her best friend, right? Her best friend being, or his best friend being Audrey, alright? So I think he killed Nina. And then I think that, Piper came to town and she kind of got, her angle was more to kind of like get revenge for her father, but she kind of got pulled into Noah's plot. Alright? So I think that Tyler and Riley had to die because they had access to Mr. Branson's files and possibly his computer, because it says maybe they were aware of the malware that Mr. Branson had. And I think that they had to kill Tyler and they had to kill Riley to make Mr. Branson look guilty. Maybe they found out, Piper and Noah found out about Mr. Branson, his shady past, that he may have killed someone, or at least he looks like he did, and he definitely had a separate identity, which would make him look uber guilty. So they kill Tyler, and they kill Riley, alright? So that they can incriminate Mr. Branson for the murders later on, alright? Although I still think, Nina was a revenge killing, because it says it's payback, alright? And obviously the killer is someone who's getting revenge for Audrey, alright? The killer tells Emma that the killer is a friend, alright? So Noah kind of becomes a friend and he's helping her. And Piper becomes kind of a friend because she's giving Emma support and information. Both Piper and Noah try to steer Emma away from the cops, and they both try to get her to, pursue the killer on her own without help from trained professionals. That's kind of odd, isn't it? Alright, they do so separately, but I think they do a good job. They both come to Emma with vital information about the case, right? They also, I think they're kind of manipulating Emma and playing mind games with her. Like, they give her some information and they say, hey, this might be the killer. And then they kind of change it around and they make someone else look a little bit guilty. And I think that's to throw her off. The killer is kind of obsessed with Emma finding out about her mother, the connection with Brandon James. The killer wants the mother to confess to Emma, what exactly happened back then, which the mother is pretty reluctant to do. And both Noah and Piper are pushing her to find the truth. The killer is pushing her to find the truth. Alright? And I think that's kind of a big hint. That they could possibly be the killers. Another thing is that if you look at the killer, I think that the killer wears two different sets of clothes. I think there's one killer that wears like a longer robe or gown type outfit that goes past the knees. That killer, I think, appears to have breasts. Alright? And if you look in the episode right before Rachel gets killed, when Audrey and Rachel are together and the killer's watching them, if you pause it, it looks like the killer has breasts. That could be my imagination, I don't know. But you can check it out yourself. Alright? And then later, like when the killer goes after Riley, it looks like the killer has maybe like a waist-length coat and jeans and boots. Alright? And I think that this is a different killer than the killer that kills Rachel. Alright? And interesting enough to note, well, for me at least, is that, you know, most of, like, Nina and Tyler, right, and Will are all killed with bladed objects. They're killed in a bloody way. However, Rachel is killed by hanging, alright? And why is she killed in a separate way? Why is her death set up to look like a suicide, alright? You know, that's kind of odd. I mean, I kind of think maybe there's even a separate killer that's working around these killers. Or there could be a reason for that too. Just another kind of off-the-wall theory, like Brooke, during the house party earlier in episode 1, mentions her dad is with a lady friend. Alright, well, and this lady friend, I mean, could it be Piper? Could Piper be the lady friend? And could maybe Rachel have seen Piper and Brooke's dad together and filmed it and kind of seen that connection? Maybe that's why Rachel's dead. I don't know. Those are just some ideas, but, you know, one thing, you know, the killer says it's a friend. The killer kind of wears different clothes during different killings. If you watch the episodes, you can definitely see that there are different clothes. The thing with the malware. Let me see if there's any other things. The killer says that he or she likes a strong female lead, and that, you know, that people pretend to be living perfect lives, and the killer is going to expose them. The killer is Emma's friend. The killer is going to show Emma that her friends are lying to her, which ultimately does happen. Noah's the one that shows her that her friends are lying to her the most. He kind of unmasks the people, as it were. Alright. And I think perhaps they could be setting Piper up to be the strong female lead. She's Brandon James's kid. She was lost. She comes back. She finds out, hey, I'm Brandon James's kid. And she stops a killer from killing Emma. Or maybe they set Emma up to look like the killer, and they kill her. Try to kill her, at least. I doubt the killer's going to succeed, right? And in episode 3, the killer texts Emma and asks if she she and Mom had a heart-to-heart. Now, the killer doesn't say your mom, right? The killer says mom. So the mom could be Emma's mom and the killer's mom. And she's pushing Emma, or he or she is pushing Emma to talk to Mom. So that's kind of another, you know, thing, food for thought there. Alright? One odd thing about Riley's death is the killer stabs her, and the killer doesn't make sure